Please wait. All right, the broadcast has woken up. We are streaming live on the YouTubes, I believe. I'm going to double check. And once all systems are go, we are go.
Yay!
Ladies and gentlemen, Foundation staff, welcome to another Anomalous Broadcast from Site-42. This is Sherm here, reporting from a remote, hidden location site in the most dangerous spot in the world, Florida. We are well hidden from the anomalous Florida man. I promise we'll be fine. All right, Florida man.
You are, yes.
Yeah.
It's me! It was Florida man the whole time!
Ah, shit.
Well,
You're doomed. This is a test. Red light. Ah. Ah. There we go. Okay, green light.
That's fine. I'll just go get my cats.
With me tonight are two wonderful friends of mine. This, on my left side right hand, is Sama. Sama Twitch's video games on... Twitch's video games.
Yep.
Streams video games on Twitch on the channel called Twicking.
Twicking Wokey?
I need some of that anomalous fluid. Help me out, God. Thank you, Lieutenant.
You're welcome, Captain.
Sama, Twitch.
Oh, yeah.
Sama streams video games on the Twitch channel known as Tricking Loki. This is a really, really cute phone case, by the way.
Thank you.
Dang, yo.
You can buy them on my channel.
Yeah, that's adorable.
I have lots of merch.
Hashtag not sponsored. Hashtag get it anyways. And then on my left hand is my left-handed friend Courtney, who also writes things, but does not have a YouTube channel I can pimp or merch. Courtney, get some merch. If you had to have merch, what's your first merch item? What do you make for merch?
a teacup.
You're tiny.
My first merch was a coffee mug.
And so they are joining me tonight for tonight's broadcast. We are going to be reading SCP-4716, titled The Plutovore's Cookbook. If you would like to join us to discuss the article afterwards, you can join us in the Site-42 Get Vocal Room. We also have the live stream up and running on YouTube, so we can see your chats starting right about now. And now it's going to start talking until I silence it. It's silenced. And I can see the chat. So we have chat. Can I do that in the control room? Is that better? Checking things. View in live control room. Is that nicer? Do I like that better? I like that better. I can see the chat better. Get rid of that. Go away. And so now we have our YouTube up. We have our story. I don't have my story. I broke my phone.
Uh-oh.
I will fix this one way or the other. So SCP-4716. Hello, ugly weirdo in the YouTube chat. Will I fix my phone so I can actually read this thing?
Oh, I just sent you the link.
Thank you for that. And hello, Doom in a Bottle in the Get Vocal chat. And Morgan, you as well. All right.
Hi, Josh. That's Doom in a Bottle.
Wonderful. And now it is time to read. So starting the document. Item number, SCP-4716. Object class, Keter. Special containment procedures. SCP-4716 and SCP-4716-B are to be stored in separately... That's really quick to be missing things, Sherman. Come on. Are to be stored separately in standard document safes in Site-43's climate-controlled library. Access to SCP-4716-B is limited to a monthly basis for purposes of documentation. Under Ethics Committee Resolution 4716-003, no further testing is to be conducted using the recipes within SCP-4716 due to the possible damage on personal and global scales. Global scales, nice. Gerard Hopworth is considered a person of interest related to SCP-4716. Their current area of operations is unknown, suspected to be in the northern United Kingdom. It is highly likely that Hopworth is in possession of a third, uncontained volume of SCP-4716. As such, containment of this volume and containment or termination of Hopworth himself is a Level 3 priority. Tag.
Description: SCP-4716 refers to a manuscript containing several thaumaturgical rituals styled after culinary recipes. Entitled The Plutovore's Cookbook, the rituals in SCP-4716 all have the same intent. The creation of an edible effigy which is to be consumed in an act of symbolic cannibalism in order to enact misfortune upon its target. The recipes within SCP-4716 have three key consistent components. Actual foodstuffs, including fresh fruit, vegetables, dairy products, etc. In some cases, pre-made foods such as frozen breakfast sandwiches or cheeseburgers bought from fast food establishments are called for. A sympathetic link to the target of the ritual. In most cases, this calls for a sample of the target's DNA, such as hair, saliva, or blood. However, items such as documents composed by the target or items made in their image, including photographs, portraits, and action figures, are sometimes called for, presumably due to the difficulty of getting a physical link. An item related to the manner of harm which is to be inflicted upon the target. The severity of the harmful effects varies depending on how much food was created and consumed in the course of this ritual. If performed correctly, the result of one of these rituals is edible with no long-term effects on health. However, this does not account for the taste or texture of normally non-edible implements. The recipes and rituals detailed are similar in format and function to known Neo-Sarkic rituals involving symbolic cannibalism. However, SCP-4716 is notable in two aspects. Firstly, the number of pages within it far exceed the capacity of its bindings. New pages are created upon contact with items used in the cooking or consumption of food, such as hot sauce, tomato juice, mustard, vinegar, fryer oil, and salad dressing. Out of all tested substances, liquid derivatives of meat products appear to generate the most new material. Secondly, the rituals within SCP-4716 are made specifically to target individuals who have a net worth of at least 10 million USD. This parameter includes the majority of high-ranking individuals in Neo-Sarkic sects across the world, some of whom have appeared in SCP-4716. It is unclear why a Neo-Sarkic would create a volume that would allow members of their own cults to be adversely affected.
I'm going to tag, but before I say that, I'm just going to add in #EatTheRich.
Discovery. SCP-4716 was discovered following a string of incidents affecting political opponents of William Putzman, a state senator from Maine. 10 opposing candidates either dropped out of the race or were otherwise unable to continue campaigning for reasons ranging from sudden life-threatening illness to arrest on charge of embezzlement to asphyxiation. Suspicion was brought upon Putzman following the discovery that his family had ties to Addison's Wake.
I'd go with Addison's.
Addison's Wake. Foundation interference was able to cause the story to be misreported as Putzman being part of a cult of carnal pleasures. At the time, it was believed that Putzman was using an artifact similar to SCP Redacted in order to attack his political opponents. However, Putzman himself was notorious among members of the Wake for being unskilled at flesh crafting and other Sarkic thermal. Can't say the word.
Thaumatur. Oh god, now I can't say it.
Thaumaturgical.
Thaumaturgical practices, suggesting the involvement of a second party. Following a brief and inclusive investigation, Putzman resigned from his seat. 3 weeks later, the police department in Augusta, Maine, found Putzman dead following reports of shots being fired at his estate. Putzman's body was desecrated to a severe degree post-mortem or pre-mortem, and his attempt to fire a revolver had decapitated him and tore off his left arm, resulting in near instantaneous death.
Okay.
SCP-4716 was discovered on the kitchen counter next to a half-eaten sandwich made with pickled bread, peanut butter, silica gel packets, a lock of Putzman hair, and grape jelly. SCP-4716 was originally 12 pages long. The first 10 pages had recipes corresponding to the 10 candidates that had been rendered unfit to run against Putzman, while the 11th and 12th contained recipes targeting Putzman himself. Saliva recovered from the sandwich showed DNA markers consistent with the Hopworth family. Though denying any involvement, the absence of their youngest child, Gerard, at any and all family gatherings have been noted.
All right. Testing log. Recipe: Bobby Blank's arachnophobic apricot cobbler. Ingredients: water, fresh apricots, brown sugar, butter, cinnamon, nutmeg, and other assorted spices, a drop of Mr. Blank's blood, a dried tarantula, Superman ice cream for the topping. Cooking instructions: no major differences from a mundane apricot cobbler. It was stipulated that the chelicerae
Chelicerae sounds correct. And
chelicerae. It was stipulated that the chelicerae of the tarantula be set aside as garnishes, while the rest of it was ground in a food processor and mixed with the other spices. Result: entire meal was consumed by D-class personnel ignorant of the ingredients. Reported a crunchy but not unpleasant texture in the cobbler itself, while the ice cream was a nice change of pace from plain vanilla. 5 hours after consumption, Mr. Blank was bitten by several Black Widow spiders while visiting a facility owned by his company. While a full recovery is expected, Mr. Blank has been shown to be increasingly arachnophobic, calling for the suspension of any projects in his company that are related to spiders. I'm going to tag you. We're going to rotate these rotations. And I can't believe I said blank every time instead of redacted, which would have been so much better.
Redacted.redacted.redacteds. Halibut. Ingredients: halibut purchased in Edinburgh, Scotland. Panko breadcrumbs, eggs, dill pickle, lemon, mustard, a 28-centimeter long holly branch chopped into sevenths, a copy of Malleus. I can never say this and it comes up so often. Maleficarum. Text stipulates reproductions. Okay. The Malleus. Why is this so often? The Malleus Maleficarum is to be burned on a fire in which the holly branch is used as kindling, while Latin is spoken over the burning. Following this, the ashes of the book are integrated into the breading. Recipe is enough to make 7 pieces of fried halibut. Result: 1 piece of 7 consumed by D-class personnel before it was complained that the food tasted like printing ink and smoke. Redacted's work has since begun to be re-examined in an unfavorable light. In addition, it is possible that Redacted herself was affected by the consumption of this meal, as she has been attempting to expand upon her previous work, with the derivatives being met with much criticism.
We all know who that is. I see what you did there, IHP. And I'm sure you made all of this just for the halibut.
Why?
Recipe: Prince Redacted's Bisectomy Venison Burgers. Ingredients: ground venison, salt and pepper, semen from His Royal Majesty Prince Redacted, Redacted of Redacted, several dozen condiments shredded, 20 milliliters of antifibrotic. I'm bad at words. Antifibronolytic drug. As standard venison burgers, non-standard ingredients were integrated into the patties, and the recipe stipulated that they be served on King's Hawaiian buns with French ketchup. Result: consumption aborted after D-class personnel suffered an allergic reaction. Oh, it's condoms and condiments.
Yes.
There we go.
Yeah. Consumption aborted after D-class personnel suffered an allergic reaction to the latex in the condoms. Burgers were found to be undercooked by several degrees, and proper preparation would likely have resulted in the meal being hypoallergenic. The gastronomicist in charge of preparing the meal was reprimanded. Within 3 days, Prince Redacted was admitted to the hospital with acute ongoing
Priapism.
Necrosis set in due to lack of blood flow to other extremities, necessitating the removal of their penis.
Wow, someone's going really hard on the topical
Yeah.
news stories. Because we all know priapism is Viagra disease, right?
Yeah.
Like, man. All right, so JK, and Willie. Who's next?
You are.
Oh, I am. I meant who's going. I'm not next.
Yeah, you're not next. Definitely.
Blank blanks the recipe. Redacted's 5-star steak. Note, this recipe appeared following an accident in Site-43's test kitchen that exposed SCP-4716 to a spilled bottle of Redacted, a brand of wine whose winery of origin is owned by the Fifth Church. Ingredients: 0.14 kilograms of sirloin steak, a 5-legged starfish, a copy of a script from a movie in which Redacted has appeared in that has had all references to the numbers, which are multiples of 5, removed. I'm going to check this footnote. What do you want? For the purpose of this test, 3 words Redacted movie was used. I wonder what that movie is. 5 grams of salt and pepper, 24.6 milliliters of lemon juice. Preparation: starfish was powdered and used to season the steak, along with the salt and pepper. The script was dissolved in cooking oil used to sear the steak, which was then finished with lime juice. Result: entire meal consumed. Redacted suffered a broken ankle while filming an installment of the Redacted franchise, resulting in delayed production. An earthquake hit Los Angeles within an hour of the announcement that production would be delayed, resulting in major damage to a building that serves as the headquarters of 4/5ism in California. At this time, the Ethics Committee has discontinued all testing using SCP-4716. Who do we think that was?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm trying real hard to figure it out, but I'm very bad at movies and like actors.
I'm placing my bets on Tom Cruise
Yeah, because that could be like a Scientology reference.
instead of 5ism.
Yeah.
It's Scientologists.
Because aren't they kind of similar?
I mean, they are alien cults. And broken ankle while filming an installment of the blank blank, that could be enough letters for Mission Impossible.
Yeah.
It looks right. All right. And now
Incident
Incident
4716-29. During testing in late 2018, SCP-4716 stopped producing new recipes, despite being immersed in pig's blood for over half an hour. While the volume was removed undamaged, no new material appeared, leaving the final page count of SCP-4716 at over 4,300. A sigil of unknown purpose was discovered on the inside of the back cover. Originally, this led SCP-4716 was reclassified as neutralized. However, 5 days after this event, a large-scale anomalous event occurred during a party at the Hopworth estate in Leeds. A transcript of notable events visible on security footage from the ground follows. Do you want me to read some of them?
I think we time code them and we rotate them like the recipes.
Okay.
And then whichever one feels like the most dramatic time to make a dramatic light change, then we'll go with that.
Okay. And do you read it 0721?
Sounds right to me.
Okay. 0721. Michael Hopworth, patriarch of the family, takes several guests into the main lobby of his estate and introduces them to a functioning Davite worm spear.
An anomalous technological apparatus that was used to subjugate the lower classes during using metallic worm-like entities that could burrow into the body and take control of the nervous system. 10 of these items are in Foundation custody.
Great.
I'm glad you found that footnote.
The footnotes just pop up for me.
When I press them, they don't go away is my problem. Apple,
Oh,
if I
is
press
right.
them, they block me.
I don't have an Apple phone.
Okay. 0732. Hors d'oeuvres are served. Common neosarchic foodstuffs such as 5 squid caviar, goat eyeballs, and gilded phalanges are visible, as is an unidentified hard-boiled egg-based dish.
0740. An impromptu prayer service is held. Sacramental wine is served. Electromagnetic distortion is visible around the wine, suggestion that some thaumic energies are present. This is confirmed when a servant is invited to drink the wine, only to have 5 extra stomachs sprout from his torso, leading to death by severe sudden trauma. Their corpse is visible on film for the duration of the party.
803. Mrs. Isabel Langley makes her way to the corpse of the servant and removes her own stomach, replacing it with one from the corpse. Prior to this, she had eaten at least 10 of the hard-boiled eggs, hors d'oeuvres. 3 other individuals who consumed these items exchanged their stomachs.
Interesting. 0800 hours, 30 minutes. All guests enter the grand hall for dinner. Michael Hopworth takes up the worm spear and brings it into the dining hall. Cameras within the hall show him giving a speech and then using the spear and worm constructs within to torment several guests. The behavior of all involved conveys amusement or joy, with one of the affected applauding after a worm construct burrows out of his skull through his eye, which is quickly replaced using the eye of another servant.
0840. Dinner is served. The chef, who appears to be headless, brings out the main dish. A large porcine-X corpse with over a dozen legs, identified as a battle sow. Footnote: a species of boar created by proto-Sarkics to be used in the rebellion against the Davites. The assembled guests applaud.
0900 hours, another prayer service begins, immediately preceding dessert. The purpose of the service appears to be the preparation for a sacrifice.
0900 hours, 10 minutes. A young woman is brought out, bound to a stretcher. She appears to be both unconscious and alive. A vial, presumably full of smelling salts, is brought under her nose. She awakens, struggling and screaming. Several guests begin tearing at her clothing.
0915. The woman, now fully naked, begins to laugh as one of the guests bites off her finger. Confusion ensues as the guest who consumed the finger abruptly begins to auto-exsanguinate. The woman speaks and looks of horror appear on the faces of all guests.
0917. Michael Hopworth leaps onto the table and attempts to stab the woman with the worm spear. The woman's abdominal flesh contorts around the weapon before they speak again.
0900 hours, 18 minutes, 1 minute later. Several hundred worm constructs appear from the bodies of all guests who had partaken of either the boar or the egg-based hors d'oeuvres, consuming the bodies. Michael Hopworth's extremities, barring his head, are consumed, with the wounds being cauterized.
The headless chef appears and removes the woman's head, revealing that the woman is a flesh construct. The head reforms on the chef's body, taking on the facial features of Gerard Hopworth. Gerard and Michael Hopworth converse for several minutes before Gerard takes up the worm spear and drives it into his father's skull, leaving the constructs to devour him.
0925. Gerard leaves a pair of books in the dining hall before exiting. The police were notified of a series of murders through an anomalous tip sometime after this.
Anonymous.
Not anomalous. Anonymous tip.
Final note, I guess. The 2 books recovered were a copy of Karl Marx's The Communist Manifesto, eat the rich, as well as a new instance of SCP-4716. Designated SCP-4716-B, the first recipe was titled Battle Sow Slaughterhouse, and used a combination of the aforementioned animal, several species of parasitic worm, iron fillings, and blood from those who were assembled at the party to achieve its effect. A sigil, identical to the one found in the back cover of SCP-4716, was discovered on SCP-4716-B's front. Testing has shown that fluid introduced to SCP-4716 now contributes to the creation of further pages in SCP-4716-B. Another sigil was found on the back cover, suggesting that a 3rd volume of SCP-4716 exists. The worm spear was found embedded in a non-anomalous, incomplete replica of SCP-140, pinning open the pages detailing Grand Karsus Ion's slave rebellion against the Davites. And that is the end of this article. What is SCP-140?
Looks like it's the Chronicle of the Devas.
A Chronicle of the Devas.
Is that the one where every time you put ink by it, it gets bigger?
I feel like that one was like a history book that like wrote further history.
Yeah, I think that's the one that it is. Just doing my skim through.
It does say must never be brought closer than 15 meters to any source of standard ink.
Okay, so that is that
Human
one.
blood or other fluid suitable for writing.
There's so many books.
That's one of the ones I know.
It's one of the ones you know, because early series, before there were 5,000.
Yep.
All right, so that is SCP-4716. It is super, blah, blah, blah. First of all, I didn't realize there were so many pop culture references in it.
Yeah.
Like, who's the first one? Bobby Blanks. Who's afraid of spiders? Because I'm betting on J.K. Rowling.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm betting on Prince William because the whole like pedophile case that they're allegedly going with. Don't yell at us, YouTube. And then I'm betting Tom Cruise. I'm not betting Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise is Tom Cruise crazy. I'm not here for that. But who's Bobby? Bobby Force the letters.
My first thought was Bobby Flay.
I'm checking the
I don't know who that is though.
I'm checking the discussion, and apparently there's a reference to the Magnus Archives.
Bobby Flay is a chef. Thank you. I knew that there was like a thing.
Okay.
But why would he have things with spiders?
Maybe someone knows Bobby Flay and that he's afraid of spiders.
I don't know.
Maybe, but I mean, to be affected, he has to be real rich. So there's that. Okay, so we have. Oh, thank you, Josh, in Get Vocal Chat that Bobby Flay is in fact a chef. And yes, I did just Joko all over this place.
Do what now?
Josh, when I said that I wasn't betting Tom Cruise, I was betting Tom Cruise.
Okay.
I said it's because Tom Cruise is Tom Cruise crazy. Tom Cruise Crazy is a song by Jonathan Colton about how Tom Cruise is Tom Cruise crazy.
Yes.
And so, yes, that worked. And then our YouTube chat. So a group of friends reading this SCP is awesome. We're awesome, guys. Yay. And then 10-8 asks, who was the prince? That's Prince William. It's a current event thing.
Yeah.
Happens to do with the whole Jeffrey Epstein thing. One of the many people who was friends with Epstein is current Prince William, and he's having a lot of trouble over it. It's William, right? I'm not accusing the wrong prince of this.
I don't remember. Also, I see Culver. It's a reference to there's a Jared Hopworth in the Magnus Archives. Am I allowed to talk about other podcasts? I don't know how your stuff goes.
No, you're down.
Okay.
References to other media is like a lot of SCP stuff.
Cool. Also, hi, Culver.
Hello, Culver.
Hello, Culver. And so...
I don't know. I googled Bobby Flay Spider and was disappointed. There was just a lot of Spider-Man articles.
Well, that's not helpful. Okay, so what do you guys think, as people who write things sometimes, about this like level of Series 5 deep Sarkic cult, neo-Sarkic cult, which is apparently different than the Sarkics?
I mean, I've been out of reading SCPs, but there are so many explained videos out. I know about the Sarkics and
I
the
know
Devas
nothing about the Sarkics in the game.
and the Fifthists.
Can you tell us anything that would enlighten the two of us who don't?
It's been a while since I watched them. I feel like the Sarkics are very much doing like flesh crafting, bioweapon type things.
Because one of the biggest ones is SCP-610, which is the flesh that's like creepy flesh monsters, and it's like taking over like a city, and there's caves of like flesh.
I feel like they are kind of juxtaposed with the Devas, which were more technology based, if I remember correctly.
Wait.
People who know more
Church
about
of the Broken
SCP.
God. Church of the Broken
Okay.
God is who they're contrasted with, because they're the machine ones.
Yeah.
The Davites were kind of like forerunners.
Okay.
And so it seems like the way this article's putting it, Okay, so now I'm going to go into the discussion a little bit because I looked at it before we read it. And part of the feeling is that at least in this article, it seems like the Sarkics took down the Davites, and it was like a whole thing about that. Or we're part of it. And yes, okay, so this is why I know this, because IHP wrote that the Neo-Sarkics have lost their way with regards to the original intent of their religion. Ion started utilizing Yaldabaoth and flesh crafting as a tool to overthrow the Davites. And it seems to have worked, but the Neo-Sarkics are content to be a bunch of rich, corrupt pricks. It's almost as if there's some commentary there. His words still, not mine, thankfully. Or not thankfully, because it's good lines. And then, writing-wise, there's always a note at the end of... There's many SCPs that just end in kind of a note that explains everything in case you didn't get it.
Mm-hmm.
And so he tried to, he, they, she, whoever IHP is, tried to avert that by leaving enough breadcrumbs for the story. And I think it told a pretty straight story.
Yeah. Even without really knowing the different cults, you could easily go, okay, yeah, this is what's going on. This is targeting people who are wealthy and corrupt.
It targeted people who were wealthy, corrupt. There was...
But it also backfired because it seemed to have been something related to the first person. I gotta go back and open it again. So
Well, it seemed like the first person was using it for their own gains. Then Hopworth came in and started to, I guess, give it more, not purpose, but...
He's trying to, refresh the orthodoxy, so to speak.
Yeah.
It's that you all have become fat and corrupt on your prizes, and I'm going to bring us back to the way things were. With body horror.
Yep.
Because body horror gets the job done.
So we know that new pages come in with just contact of something that would be used with food, but how does it choose who the people are? Did I miss that?
If performed correctly, the recipes detailed are similar in format. New pages are created upon contact with items used in the cooking or consumption of food, such as hot sauce, tomato juice, mustard, vinegar, fire oil, and not salad dressing. Out of all test substances, liquid derivatives of meat products appear to generate the most new material. So yeah, how does it pick victims?
Yeah. Because the first one, I imagine, was somewhat directed.
Well, it itself doesn't seem to pick the victims, though.
Yeah.
Bobby Flay's a cobbler. J.K. Rowling's hackneyed halibut. Prince William's vasectomy venison burgers. Tom Cruise's 5-star steak. Yeah, I
think it's someone deciding on this. There's someone directing it.
So it's Hopworth that wrote the book then, right?
It seems because it was the first one was the one against the politician. And Putzman. And there was saliva from the sandwich from the Hopworth family.
Yeah.
So Gerard Hopworth seems to have been the one that was making the decisions the entire time, I would assume, considering that because the Putzman was the first one, right?
Also, it's...
Oh no, Putzman wasn't the first one.
Putzman was the first one who was suspected using it.
Right.
Also, it's Prince Andrew's the one.
Andrew. Okay,
yeah,
Prince Andrew.
I wanted to double check that.
Thank you. We're making very rude things if not.
Yeah.
So yes, it's Prince Andrew. We are alleging. We're not alleging. Everyone else is alleging. We're just reporting on the alleging. We're alleging the alleging, as they put it, as I put it.
Same as they.
Assuming my quick Google was correct. But
10-8 on YouTube points out that while we're talking about who actually does the doing, who's picking, Secondly, the rituals within SCP-416 are specifically made to target individuals who have a net worth of at least 10 million US dollars. The question is, they're not randomly just picking over 10 millionaires, are they?
No, because if it was random, it wouldn't have been the 10 opposing candidates of Putzman.
Because Putzman was, because his book at least specifically targeted his enemies. And then, because apparently there are 3 books. So book 1 is the one Putzman was using, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
And then where's book 2 come in?
Book 2 came, they discovered after the battle Sal.
Book 2 is what we were testing at the Foundation, right?
Book 1 was what we were testing. Book 2, so the first one, and then there's B.
Yeah, B are to be stored separately. So there's SCP-4716 and SCP-4716-B are to be stored separately in standard document safes. And access to SCP-471-B is limited to a monthly basis for purposes of documentation. So we are testing B.
I was going to say, because book A was like deactivated, I thought.
Yeah, it wasn't expanding anymore, but if you introduced anything to A, it would expand out B. And it seems like there was an endpoint to B, which means there's likely a C, which they believe that Hopworth has. Gerard.
Yes. Because yeah, it is highly likely that Hopworth is in possession of a 3rd uncontained volume.
Yeah. So we still don't quite know what causes that.
I still think it's whoever, or what causes which. What?
I believe you said that's Culver, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Knowing that these are tied to a series of books, the Magnus Archives reference makes a lot more sense.
The specific person they're tying to, it was from the comments from the actual creator, is Jared Hopworth, who has a book on flesh crafting and I believe removes bones from people's bodies.
Well,
Like you do.
Who needs bones? Bones are for suckers.
Is it too soon to say apparently not Prince Andrew after that recipe?
Oh.
I'm sorry.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Book was the first one that we started testing. Book B was the one that came from the party, and we started testing that once we got it. So, when did we get the books? Discovery.
Well, A was discovered after Hopman, not Hopman.
After Putzman
Putzman
was killed.
Was killed.
Yes, A is after Putzman's opponents were killed.
Yeah, it had 12 pages. They started testing, and then after it hit 4,300 pages, it stopped. Assuming each one is 1 page, that's a lot of recipes.
Insanity Major, wow, I'm really confused. I feel you. But we're working on it. We're getting there.
Yeah, no, the first one also killed Putzman. The first 10 pages corresponds to 10 candidates,
Yeah.
while the 11th and 12th contained recipes targeting Putzman. So
Yeah.
and because that there was saliva from Hopworth on the sandwich eaten at where Putzman was killed, that meant Hopworth was using that book at that time.
Yeah.
I want to know how other books get created.
I want to know why he left that book.
Yeah, also that. Well, maybe just to see what happened with it.
Yeah, see if that, or because they were.
Well, somewhere it looked like, I don't know if it's the discussion that says this, it probably is, because why would I be thinking it otherwise? It seems to me that he left it because he knew that they would test it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then he doesn't have to do the recipes himself.
I still want to know how other books get, were all 3 in existence at the same time? Or do they only get created when one book gets filled?
I'm not sure. I still want to know what the trigger is to decide
I still think it's a directed thing.
that it's all
It's all someone deciding what to do with it.
okay.
Well, even Putzman, who was not very good at magic-y things, was able to use it.
Yeah.
And he very specifically aimed it at people he wanted taken down. So
Yeah.
he must be able to have the book in hand and have it do something.
Yeah.
See, if it like did it when he put their DNA on it, that would make sense to me. Like, it only makes a spell when it encounters their DNA, because then it targets them.
Yeah.
And so, like any good witch or wizard book, you get their DNA, you put it on the book, it generates a spell, and you cast it.
Mhm.
But this doesn't need the DNA to make the spell, but you need the DNA to cast the spell afterwards.
It's not always the DNA, it's some sort of link.
Or correct,
It's most
a link.
often DNA, but
Items that they
yeah.
mhm. Man.
Yeah, I still think it's well done and tells a story without giving us all of the answers.
I mean, we certainly don't have all of them.
Yeah, and we don't need all of the answers though. It still functions.
That's okay. My English major, librarian major brain latched on to the one grammatical typo I found and won't let it go.
Oh no, where's the typo? Where is it? I'm gonna die. I didn't see it. I usually find them.
It's over the top of this thing, so the timeline. Originally, this lead was reclassified as neutralized. I don't understand what's happening in that sentence.
I, as a member of the site and who's very picky, that is something I am allowed to fix, and I do that when I can when this happens. Because if I find a knockout, if I find a typo, I like to fix them. Because when you're forced to read every single word of a document, you normally find them.
Your headcanon is it needs any food item to make a new recipe. If you present it with a link to your target, it makes one specifically for that target. Otherwise, it generates a random one. That's a good headcanon.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. Okay, so where was entire wheel? It's above the testing log.
No, it's not above the testing log. It's above the timeline.
Oh, it's below the testing log.
Below testing log, above timeline.
Okay, incident. Oh, all right, so originally this lead SCP-4716 was reclassified. So
To be reclassified?
yeah, don't forget a space. You need that. Originally, this led SCP-4716 to be reclassified as neutralized.
Yeah.
However, 5 days after this event, a large-scale anomalous event occurred. All right, we are
You didn't catch it because I was the one reading it.
fixed a typo. I thank you for pointing it out.
Also, the rating has got up by 1. Nice.
I get it.
I see what you did there.
I had to.
You win this round.
I
All
got
right.
that one.
All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, we may have helped or have just coincidentally been here when SCP-4716 went up a rating. And now I'm going to ruin it by upvoting it myself. Now it's not nice anymore, but it's better. And so this has been another anomalous broadcast from Site-42. This is the lovely Courtney, writer of things. This is the lovely Sama, tricking Loki on Twitch for video game streaming. I said it right the first time.
Did.
No twitching Lokis, twitching video games.
Twicking Loki.
Twicking Loki. Be very, very quiet. I'm hunting twicking Lokis.
I'm hunting Toolas.
If you enjoy what you're doing and having fun with the Site-42 and the SCP Wiki, support us on Patreon and help us make more shows. Going into the new year, we're making improvements to the channel and stuff. Real quick, as I'm signing off, Insanity Major on YouTube asks, hey, what's your favorite SCP headcanon? And I'm going to let us ruminate on that for a second because I'm interested. I know nothing about SCP. I have no headcanons, nor head.
I mean, mine is a wholesome headcanon.
Ooh, tell me the wholesome headcanon.
I really like the tickle monster being a savior. And
Yeah.
having fixed it's 173, right? 173
682.
682.
Right where the giant monster unkillable dragon. Unkillable lizard.
It was to Montauk.
2317.
2317. Is it?
231-7.
Okay.
SCP-231 is Montauk.
Okay, yeah.
And so...
I am a fan of that child being fixed, and the tickle monster will one day save everyone from the Scarlet King.
That one, I believe, is a tale called New Job.
Yes.
And it is wholesome and wonderful.
Yes.
Meanwhile, my favorite SCP canon, headcanon, is... God, what's my headcanon? Lord. I should have thought of this while you were talking.
You were too engaged.
I was too engaged.
All I know is that I want to go back now and listen to the thing that we did, because I enjoyed editing that.
Ah, yes, for those who have been with Site-42 for a while, if you go to our reading of SCP-001 SD Locke's proposal, When Day Breaks, everyone's favorite picture of the sun meme, these two are the voices of 90% of that article. Our When Day Breaks reading is one of our much longer readings, and they did all the acting, and it's freaking fabulous. So if you haven't heard our reading of that, it's on the YouTube channel in the long readings playlist.
It's so easy to find this lovely.
But When Day Breaks, that is them. Insanity's favorite headcanon is Agent Lombardi's wife that he's not allowed to remember is SCP-231-7. Mine is Agent Lombardi's wife that he's not allowed to remember is SCP-231-7. Oh, that his wife is SCP-231-7? Oh my god. That's real bad. That's real bad. I don't know anything about the Lombardi tales. That's like a really large, like old school SCP tale series. And wow, that's messed up. Oh, bad day. I can't think of a headcanon right now, because when I think of headcanons, I think of little things.
Yeah.
Like how I don't think that the SCP Foundation uses death row inmates as D-class, because logistically speaking, there aren't enough death row inmates to supply the test subjects needed. And so mine is even meaner, that they're like pulling off different kinds of criminals or abducting homeless people and using them for tests, stuff like that. And it's not like a glamorous headcanon.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like little things about the Foundation, or like that, the kind of like under, like the background of the Foundation, like the Ethics Committee. I love the Ethics Committee stuff and how they interact with the O5 Council. But I don't have a grand headcanon for the wiki, except that Dr. Spanko is going to be the real savior. And that bird will cack us all into the heaven's gates. I will drink the strangle fruit flavored Kool-Aid. Thank you. Culver says, one of my favorites is that the Ethics Committee and the O5 Council are super closely linked and might be the same entity. Bum, bum, bum.
There's a series of tales. I can't remember what it was exactly, but it went into all of what they thought the O5s were. And that one was fun. It's a person going and killing all the O5s.
Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Was I supposed to... I have voiced, and then I need to redo it. Was I supposed to voice one of the O5s? Is that one of the ones that I was voicing for that big project you were doing?
Maybe? You mean that SCP that's really, really long that I never got to because work got in the way?
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh, probably.
Yeah, that thing's a monster.
One day when I don't have to work a day job anymore, I will get to SCP-1730. I just do not have the time.
It's good, because I need to re-record it, because I hated everything that came out of my mouth.
Isn't that the one that at some
Perfect.
point had someone writing on 682 with a cowboy hat?
No, that's Duke Till Dawn.
Okay.
And I did that one.
I know Duke Till Dawn.
There it is, the Ouroboros. Thank you.
Ouroboros.
That's the one I was thinking of. And I think there was a guy with I'm pretty sure there was one guy with a cowboy hat.
Well, there is a guy with a cowboy hat. That's Kondraki.
Okay.
Dr. Kondraki is, unless his penis is stuck in an Aquafina bottle, he is often found with a cowboy hat.
Why doesn't it on when his penis is stuck in an Aquafina bottle?
Well, sometimes he wears both. Uh,
Those were words I said with my mouth in one single sentence.
and now, for the benefit of my two non-SCP friends and the greater internet, the last 9 minutes of this video is going to be me explaining what bottle dick is.
Oh, why?
Because this is the SCP background history that everyone needs to know.
Okay.
One writer for the wiki wrote a story where Dr. Alto Clef and Dr. Benjamin Kondraki are dating. And not only are they dating, which makes them gay, which the internet can get mad at sometimes, but the entire story is a very short story where Clef goes over to Kondraki's apartment because they're supposed to go on a date that night, and he knocks on the door to the bathroom, and Kondraki's like, "Hey, I'm busy. You can't laugh at me." And Clef goes into this whole like digression about their friendship to relationship, and how Clef is asexual and Kondraki's obviously not, and how that might have gotten in the way, but they've been doing well with it. And then he opens the door, and Clef is sitting there with an Aquafina bottle on his penis, because that's what he decided to do that day. And that's the whole story. It's a joke. It's a dumb joke. It's a little gay here. It's a little joke here. It's not that. Apparently, this is a little gay and this is a little joke. I'm sorry, you guys. And that was all it was going to be. That's all it was. And then some angry troll on Tumblr got really mad that Alto Clef was shown as gay. Even though there is no canon on the wiki. Even though you can write whatever the heck you want. They got real grumpy about it.
Mm-hmm.
And they started trolling this author and sending them hate mail and sending them death threats, all about Dr. Clef on this fake character from the internet. And so,
Yeah.
thank you, Culver. I thought I was clever enough not to get that, and everyone heard the Aquafina.
Yep, we did. Just went with it.
Sherman's not that smooth. It's fine. And so, at this point, the author of the site, Dr. Clef, the person who wrote his avatar, Alto Clef, wrote a second tale, a sequel to the first one. And the first one was called Second Date, because it was their second date. And so this one was called Third Date. And Third Date was them getting him out of the apartment with a bottle on his dick to go get him medical attention. Except the fire alarm goes off and everyone comes out of the hallways. But the fact is that Clef wrote this to be like, no, I'm putting my stamp of approval on this. And from there, the best thing that happens on the internet is when the good people decide to troll the bad people.
Mm-hmm.
And so now there is an entire canon on the wiki, aptly named the Ship in a Bottle canon.
Oh, God.
And there's like at least 10 of them. Everyone piled on because when someone's being a dick,
Yeah.
You put that dick in a bottle and make it canon. I'm sorry.
It was there. It was good. It was good.
Yeah.
And so yes, that is the brief history of Bottle Dick.
Okay.
The Ship in a Bottle canon. And with that, please support us on Patreon and social media. Join the Discord server. Hang out with Sam on Twitch. Hang out with Courtney in spirit.
I'm going to make you a portfolio, damn it.
I have a website. I just don't know what it is.
This has been Site-42. This has been an Anomalous Broadcast from Site-42. See you guys in the next video. Cheers. Stop broadcasting.